G'day and welcome to another Brewery Series video. I'm pretty excited about this one. This time we're brewing one of my favourite beers from one of my favourite breweries. Juicy Banger from Blackmans Brewery. If you follow any of my socials like Instagram or my Google Map reviews, you'll see that I'm in Torquay a lot and I'm at Blackmans Brewery a lot. In fact, there's a shot I took at Blackmans Brewery that has had over 120,000 views, and that is huge for a small brewer like me. If you don't know where Torquay is about 100 kilometres southwest of Melbourne. It's actually on the ocean side. Most of Melbourne's around the bay. Torquay is the closest beach to me on the ocean, and that's one of the reasons I go there a lot, besides the brewery. Of course, it's also home to the famous Bells Beach surfing competitions. But Blackmans aren't only in Torquay, they also have a burger bar and tap room in Ocean Grove and a larger production brewery and tap room in Grovedale, Geelong. But back to this beer. If you haven't heard of it, you must have been living under a rock. It's won many awards over the years. This year it got 30th in the top 100 beers in Australia. And that's a great achievement from a small family-owned brewery in Torquay. This is the Juicy Banger I brewed. Look at that. Sensational. And don't be fooled by the name. It's not some soft new age NEPA. It's hoppy like an IPA, but dry like a lager. As I said before, it's one of my favourite beers from Blackmans. This and the Reg, every time I go to the brewery, doesn't matter if there's a new special beer on, I'll have one of these first and a Reg, then I'll go on to the specialty ones. You've seen me review their special beers here before. Blackmans need more Simcoe. Before we get started, I just want to thank Ren and Jess and the rest of the Blackmans crew for their hospitality and for this recipe. It's their 10th birthday this week. How good's that? Happy birthday, Blackmans. And that's a bloody great achievement in this day and age. Congratulations. Blackmans were one of the breweries that saved me over the lockdowns. Delivered beer here to me about 75 kilometres away from the brewery, hand delivered to the door. Legend. I nearly kept him here. I nearly brought him in and put him in the corner. Help me! I often get comments saying, oh, your recipe's close, but it's not quite right. Well, these recipes I get are from the brewery. Sometimes breweries do change their recipes. It's very common, more common than you would know. That can be due to breweries just experimenting or due to the fact that they need to expand the web of ingredients. Just in case one ingredient isn't available from one time to another, they can still make that beer and keep everyone happy. Let's not muck around and get right into this recipe. It's 100% Barrett Burston Pale Malt. You could substitute that with a Gladfield Pilsner, Voyager Atlas, or a 2-row pale malt, sometimes called Brewer's Malt. We're looking for a base malt with a light colour, something around 4 EBC, or around 2 Lovibond. For those that are interested in my mill settings, I mill at 1.35 millimetres. We're shooting for an original gravity of about 1.054 to finish up with about 5.8% alcohol. I'm starting here with 20 litres of water. This is a Gen 4 Brewzilla. That'll handle the 5.5 kilo of grain quite easily. If you're in a Gen 3 and you struggle with that amount, you might start with 21 litres. I'm going to treat the water to a lager softness. I've already removed the chlorine and chloramine using some sodium metabisulfite. You can use a Camden tablet if you like. I haven't used RO water in this batch. We're pretty lucky with Melbourne water. It's very low in salts here. But we want to make sure there's enough salts in there for yeast health and to boost it up where needed. The numbers I used will be in the recipe, and there's a link to the recipe in the description. I'm going to mash at 67 degrees Celsius, so I'll have my strike temp about 72 degrees, depending on the temperature of your grain. It's usually about 5 degrees hotter than your required mash temp. Of course, do whatever works in your system. Alright, that is 10 minutes since before. I'll just take a little sample. We've still got it flow. I haven't turned it up yet. That's how much flow there is. And take a little pH reading. You don't have to, but at least if I do it, at least you'll know. If you've got the same water as me and my calculations are right, you don't have to worry so much. I'm going to whack that in the freezer for about 15 minutes. 10 minutes was enough. Got me down to 22 degrees. I mean, it depends how much you put in there too. So that's fine for a reading. About 5.3, 5.29 at the moment. 5.3. That's fine. Near exactly where I wanted it. I'm doing a standard 60-minute mash. Nice and clear. And when that's over, I'll mash out at 76 degrees for 10 minutes. Then I sparge with about 13 litres of water. It's about 76 degrees Celsius. Anywhere between 76 and 80 is a good temperature for sparging, and it doesn't matter whether you sparge by jug, hose, pump, it really doesn't matter. Just take it easy. You don't want to fill it up with water, you'll risk compressing the grain bed, and if you have too little water, you also risk compressing the grain bed. Alright, it's time for a pre-boil. I'm also going to call it 60 minutes. Start at 60 minutes, it's 5:55 and there's 8 grams of mosaic. And my pre-boil reading was 1.050. 10 minutes before the end, I add some Werflock, PVPP and some yeast nutrient. You don't have to go to that much trouble if you don't want to, just some Werflock will do the job, but yeast nutrient's always a good idea. Then 5 minutes before the end, I add 10 grams each of Falconer's Flight and Mosaic. At the end of the hour, I turn off the elements, I let it settle, and then turn on the whirlpool. Once you're whirlpooling, add 17 grams each of Mosaic and Falconer's Flight, and we want a 10-minute whirlpool or steep. The way I do it, I whirlpool for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I turn off the whirlpool just so everything can settle down and clear a bit before I start chilling or transferring to the fermenter. If you don't have a whirlpool arm or a whirlpool system, when you add the hops, just give it a good stir for about 20 seconds or so is plenty. Then let it sit in the hot liquid or steep for 10 minutes before you start chilling. Once the whirlpool is complete, use your favoured method of chilling and get that wort into the fermenter. This beer is fermented as a lager using 3470 yeast. In the brewery they brew it at 12 degrees and rise to 15 degrees towards the end for the diacetyl rest. I have brewed this beer several times. The time you can see here I used Nova Lager and very much enjoyed the beer. Once you're at final gravity, you can dry hop with 46 grams each of Citra and Mosaic. Then chill to 3 degrees and let lager for 2 weeks. As I mentioned earlier, it's their 10th birthday and they've released some special beers for the occasion. Order them from the website or find them in any good bottle shop. Make sure you try the Angry Reg. I haven't tried this year's, but past years have been sensational. Just before we go, thanks again to Jess, Ran, Woz and the rest of the crew. And I suggest everyone go for a holiday down to Torquay. You can go to Blackmans, you can go to Bell's, there'll be another brewery opening up there soon. It's worth it. If you don't get down to Torquay, you can try them in Ocean Grove, Grovedale, and they're pretty widely available now through Dan Murphy's. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please press the like, drop a comment down below and tell me what brewery you'd like me to try and do next for the brewery series. And thanks to my patrons. Without my patrons, these videos couldn't happen. Consider going and checking out my Patreon, please. Cheers. Thanks. Go the juicy bagger. Personally, I always try to support small independent breweries. You should too. They need us, we need them. Get out and enjoy yourself. Have a feed, have a beer. You don't have to do it every day, but as much as you can, you'll enjoy yourself. Your life will be better and richer for it. You'll meet friends. You might meet Woz. Woz is gonna kill me. Sensational. I'm gonna finish this beer before I go back inside. It's just too good. It's a big glass too. Thanks, Dave. Dave gave me this. Cheers, mate.